Stan, come right up here.
Yes,
right up here. Stan was invited to the first meeting, but he came to the second BA meeting. The reason Stan didn't come to the first meeting is because he says, Mike, I don't do that. I said, do what? Talk to people? No, he goes, I don't go to things like that. I said, things like what, Stan? Well, it's like a mastermind. Like, that's not what I do. So, as you well know, that's not really a word I understand very well, right? So I continued to follow up with Stan. So Stan makes it to the second meeting. Stan, have you ever missed a meeting?
No.
In 6 years, he's never missed a meeting. And I think for the first 3 years, he came to both sessions. So that means like all 5 days for like the first half, like at least 3 years. Stan, probably one of the most special human beings you'll ever meet. A lot less verbose than myself. You're going to ask him a question, he's going to give you the answer, and you're going to be like, yeah, but is there more to it? And he goes, not really. Ladies and gentlemen, Stan's been with BA since the very beginning. He's helped out so many members in so many difficult situations because we're all trying to do something special with our businesses, our families, and our lives. Let's give him a nice, warm BA welcome.
Thank you. I think I'm old. Some of you in the room are old enough to remember a man named Paul Harvey. So you might want to hear the rest of the story. Mike called me and he said, I had solved a little problem for Mike, and Mike Citron, another member of one of the original members of BA, had referred Mike to me, so I did something for him, and he calls me up, he says, hey, I'm doing this thing, I need you to come to it. I said, what is it? He says, 2 days. I said, no. I didn't care what it was. I do not sit still well. The idea that I was going to sit in any room for 2 days was like a non-starter. But he worked on me for a while, and then Mike Citron called and worked for me a while, and the two of them had enough credibility with me to get me in the room. What has happened over the last 5 years is some of the best friends I have in the world are members of the Board of Advisors. So what I'm doing today is I'm not going to talk to you about a whole lot of business things. I'm going to talk to you about Board of Advisors. I'm going to give you one of the solve your problem things at the end. Particularly for new members. The only thing wrong with what Mike showed you is on the 18 minutes, he said, talk for 13 and get feedback for 5. That is wrong. Reverse it. Talk for 5 and shut up. Look at what's in this room. You're in $1 million mastermind. You couldn't buy access to this group. You don't have enough money. And if all you do is talk, you wasted it. 100% of it. So some of you have presentations. Some of you have a bunch of slides. If you have more than 5 slides, throw them away. And if any slide has more than 5 words on it, throw it away. You're wasting your time. You want to know how to get value out of BA? How many of you want to know? Okay, let me make it simple. Mike has done a spectacular job over the last 6 years of screening the people that sit in these seats. We've had some come and go. And the ones that have gone are the ones that come in here with the idea, I'm going to pitch everybody, I'm going to make my sales, I've worked that group, and I'm moving on. You know how much they got out of this room? Nada. Because what people want to know is, are you sticking? Are you a giver? Are you real? Are you here for the right reasons? Because the person that comes out of this room with the most is always the biggest giver. It's not the person who talks the longest. It's not the person who's got the slickest presentation. It's the person that makes an impact. And people look at you and say, you know, I've watched you over 2, 3, 4 years. You're real. I want to do business with you. I had one case out of this room. And look, I want to introduce my granddaughter, April Coates. She's with me this week. She just turned 17, and she's going to sit through meetings with me because she also works for my law firm. So if you guys already work with me, she already knows your name. She doesn't know the faces, but she'll put them together. But what that means is I had been a member of BA for about 3.5 or 4 years. I'd sat in, that makes 12 meetings or 14 meetings with somebody. And it wasn't in the meeting, it was at dinner over at the Hyde Park Steakhouse. I will see you all there tonight. And we're sitting having dinner, and somehow something came up, and I was telling one of my law war stories. I'm a business trial lawyer, have been for almost 40 years. And I get a call on the Sunday after BA. He says, I need to talk to you. I got a real problem case going on. I got something to try to steal my company. That case paid for BA for me for the next 15 years. And it got his problem solved. Now, there's a lot less expensive ways to solve those problems, and we'll talk about those a little bit on Thursday, because today's about. But what I want you to understand is, guys, if you come here with the right intentions, and you come here and tell us who you are, I've given a couple of people this advice, some of the new members. I said, let me tell you how to structure your presentation. Stand up and say, I'm going to talk for 3 to 5 minutes. I'm going to tell you what my problem is, and I need you to help me solve it. The first thing that we'll do is it will get everybody to get their faces out of their phones and out of their computers, because they want to engage, because the people in this room are givers, and they will pay attention to you if they know you're not going to pitch them for 18 minutes. And if I'm stepping on anybody's toes, I'm sorry, but that's just the way I am. Don't ask me a question you don't want to know the answer to, because I'm going to tell you what I really think. My granddaughter can tell you that at almost any moment. But when you see, here's the value. The value of letting people give to you is that the problem you're having in your business, half the people in this room are having, and if they get to hear how to solve it, that's where the value is, guys. It's not in what you do, it's in somebody helping you solve your problem that solves their problem. So when you talk, what you're really doing is you're stealing value from the other members of BA. Ooh, got real quiet, didn't it? Okay, so I'm going to be quick. I'm going to be done, because I'm going to give you the solve a problem thing. One of the things I do for a lot of members of BA is I review investment opportunities for them, because in addition to being a business trial lawyer, I probably tried 30 securities cases. At one point, had all of the securities licenses myself. So it's not like I don't know what I'm looking at when I see this stuff. And they run it by me and say, does this pass the smell test? And I'm going to tell you how to raise money. I'm not going to give you what Trey can give you. Trey is an expert at it. I love working with Trey. But I'm going to tell you from a trial lawyer's perspective, there are 3 things about raising money from any source. There are 3 sets of laws in the securities laws that all apply. There's one called the registration requirements. The second is registered person selling the investment. And the third is called the anti-fraud rules. You can't lie, cheat, steal, or omit things that need to be told to be truthful. That's all the rules when you raise money. And what you hear a lot of people doing when they raise private offerings is they say, well, this is an exempt offering. That means if it qualifies, it does not have to be registered, i.e. reviewed by the SEC. Typically, there are notice filings. But who sells it is still critical. You got to make sure that the people who are selling it are authorized to do it. And if you're paying commissions to somebody to sell a private offering, you have the potential to go to jail. I'm representing a man right now that is going to pay a fine of in excess of $20 million to the SEC, and the Department of Justice is looking at it. DOJ is those initials that go along with FBI. You really don't want to hear those. You don't want anybody knocking on your door with those initials. So is the offering really exempt? Who's going to sell it and get paid on it? And here's the other one. The anti-fraud rules apply always. There are no exemptions to the anti-fraud rules. It means if you have existing company and you've got financial information and you don't disclose that data, you just violated the securities laws. I don't care if your offering's exempt. I don't care if you sold it right. You can't hide the truth, and you have to tell the truth. This is stuff we learned in kindergarten, right? Always play fair, take turns, do the right thing. The securities laws, if you look at them in a very simplistic way, are do the right thing at the right time for the right reason every time. And you'll never have a problem. And you can raise as much money as you want, but you just got to do it the right way. So that's my quick, how do you solve a problem? How do you not go to jail? How do you not have the SEC freeze all your assets? because they have the ability to do that, and they do it in secret. They go to a federal court, they get a sealed order that freezes every asset you have. Your bank accounts, your companies, they put the companies into receivership, they bring somebody in, hand them the keys to your business, and say, thank you, have a nice day, we might talk to you again in a year. That doesn't sound like a lot of fun, does it? It isn't, I can promise you, it isn't. But look, this is an opportunity for you guys to get more value for your investment of time and money than you can possibly even imagine if you're new in the room. Just go about it the right way, because everybody in here wants to give, make it possible for us to do it. That's it. If you got questions, I'll answer them. I'm done. Yes, sir.
Come on, Stan.
Stan, it's Mitch Russo here. How are you?
Good.
Good. So what do you need?
You know what? When I do a presentation on Thursday, I'm going to let my ask be hers. What she asked for, give that to her.
Got it.
That's my ask.
Thank you, Mitch. And just real quick for anybody who is new, this is a catch box, and we want to talk into it like this. It will work perfectly, but it doesn't work very well when we talk into it like this, right?
Yeah.
So when you do, I may throw it to you, right? Ready? Ready?
Hello.
Bang. See, it works perfectly.
There you go.
The other aspect of that, thank you, Stan. The other aspect of that one too, there's a little red dot or a blue dot or a white dot, and sometimes, Dave, you're way over there, right? And he can't necessarily see what color, so when you catch it, just say red, and he knows exactly how to activate that for you, so you're not, we're not missing it. Now, the reason that we want to do this, Stan, the reason we want to do this is if we're not speaking into the mic, Ray, Lisa, Mike, Bryant, they can't hear what we're doing or saying, right? So then it goes dark for them. So we want to make sure that we're speaking into the mic. Ladies and gentlemen, anybody wants anything else for, okay, Partiv, if you'll just throw that to Partiv. Red?
Yes, sir.
Red. So I just want to say something nice about Stan. Is that allowed?
Yes.
Move up closer.
Okay. So when we joined BA, we scheduled a one-on-one time. So me, Deepa, and Stan talked. And he basically gave me a walkthrough on who does what, who is what, and how to get the best value out of BA. So I'm really grateful for having a friend who kind of envelopes you right as you're getting ready to meet and figure out where you are, what you do, because this is a different planet than the planet outside this room. So thank you.
Thanks,
You're a
Partiv.
nice guy.
Thank you, Partiv. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll give you one more. Right here. Ooh. Blue.
Blue box.
Blue.
We got two, I guess. We got Kim and Corinne.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, take his gives seriously. Stan had the opportunity to, when he was on stage, he offered a review, an entire legal review of business, and we took him up on his offer, and I have to tell you, it was revolutionary for us, because he not only went over all of our contracts, redlined everything that we needed to change. One little strategy that he told us about making contracts assignable would have been catastrophic for us in a sales environment, selling the business or doing an exit. And so we've reevaluated all of our paperwork, all of our things. Stan both helped us build my team. My executive team, Brad and Jessica, are joining us for the first time live in our entirety. And Stan brought us together in his partnership. He's got a whole module on building partnerships in your business to make them super functional. And so whatever your give is, Stan, it was awesome. Thank you for everything you've done.
Thank you.
We're going to end on Chris here.
Yeah, I mean, you didn't have an ask, so I can't offer feedback on that, but you and I have worked together for 4 years now on 4 different companies. 3 of them look like they're probably going to sell, so that's pretty cool. But I know you've gone into a few different ventures with a few different people and things, but, and some work, some don't, right? But I think the one thing that has absolutely never changed is your character and your integrity. So the fact I've had an opportunity to work with you for as long as I have, and I mean, even to the point where you sat down, myself, my mother help us with life planning and things like that. I appreciate that, and you're always there, and sometimes we'll go catch a snook together and everything else. So
There you go.
thanks, I appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Chris.
brother. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, give him a nice warm round of applause. Stan Padgett.